끝낼 수 있나?
This
끝낼
is
수
Dune
있어?
calling to go straight to Baron afterwards. This is the shot calling that we've heard so much about.
Yeah, and that's a very relieved Kwangdong Freaks there in the coach's booth as well. But great to see Jun back. And you are seeing a little bit more coordination, a little bit more of something, like better ideas here from Kwangdong Freaks. Outside of the fact that the early game, basically nothing really happened. It doesn't matter, because ultimately Kwangdong Freaks had the better scaling draft anyway, and so they were able to sit back. KT didn't do enough. They've got themselves Soul Point on top of all of that, and now a 3,000 gold lead. Of course, anything can be thrown away, but I think it's looking pretty good at this stage.
Really is. And considering that KT Rolster now don't have map control, we talked about if you fall behind in this comp, it gets hard. You know, more we were talking about earlier in the game than this, but at this stage with Baron buff up, BDD's angles to actually set up for big scatters and blow up one of these carries just gets tougher and tougher. You know, how is he going to be able to consistently do that damage? And the tankiness of this Rod on level 17 Bulldog here is significant against the Syndra, because if you use all of your cooldowns to kill this Victor, the Zeri pops, and vice versa.
Well, final chapter going to be used just to try and lock down Youngjae. Cuz going to turn up, does the same thing. Wouldn't say he's the priority target. However, they do at least get the Maokai out of there. Taeyun just eradicates the turret. TP in an instant, as now here's the flank play. BDD moving on over, gets the scatter onto a couple. The AoE damage is massive, but Youngjae will survive, and Dudu is just too big of a problem. They can't do anything about him.
Oh, that was the best angle they could have hoped for. This is the, okay, teleport for the big scatter angle for BDD, and it's a big one, but they can't actually get any effective damage on the rest of the team. It's just too far away. So Kwangdong Freaks will lose a lot of Baron time here, but everybody survives. KT here now just trying to group up for this Drake fight.
Yeah, this entire minion wave is just going to waste, though, and Kwangdong Freaks are allowed to regroup. The flank for the Syndra is an interesting option here, but it's one that may work out. Let's see how many of these Qs he's going to be able to land, as Cuz just not even going to go for the steal. So KT just came to spectate the taking of an Ocean Soul, and they'll go back to trying to salvage the remainder of their base.
Yeah, that's an inhibitor turret gone. All the minions, like you said, wasted. And Kwangdong Freaks got so much out of this Baron. 3,200, 3,300, the power play at the end. You can see the big spike in gold with those last two team fights where Taeyun pops off. And the audience, the crowd, I feel like I haven't heard it this loud.
Yeah, super animated today.
Yeah, because everybody wants to see this team do well, right? It's a 0-4 Kwangdong Freaks. They're finding their strides in terms of macro. The front-to-back team fighting is great here. And just like Hanwha Life yesterday, it just feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like finally, if you're a Kwangdong fan, you could just say, oh, I knew we could do it, you know? And so far they're doing it, and it's not over yet, but the game state is so Kwangdong favored. They could just group up in 4-1 super hard. And as Keen in this case, you have to push a long way to get that bounty gold on the bottom turret.
Oh, absolutely. There is not a lot of options here, as Keen's going to come back. But what is he going to do as this Renekton, right? Like, you're just going to run up and do your very best to lock someone down, but the rest of the team is going to be there as they stand in front of aiming. Cuz able to tank things up decently. But as soon as Scatter is on cooldown, BDD not as much of a threat. Does have Shadow Flame at least.
Yeah.
What's up for now. Wants to get that Void stuff though, and doesn't really have the kind of damage that Kwangdong Freaks at this stage of the game are all that scared about.
Dudu really just is unkillable, unfortunately for them, and Death Cap is almost done for Bulldog here. And the idea behind that Youngjae ult is just to lock down this turret. Good defense for KT, while Keen was able to stay inside. But what are you really getting out of it? Aiming, just catching waves in mid, trying so desperately to catch up here. In a game where he's had a great performance himself too, but it's been the team effort of Kwangdong Freaks and the peel for Taeyun that has been the biggest problem, as BDD's gone fishing but isn't coming up with anything, man. He's
119, we need one more.
Yeah, please get it. I've seen him walk away from that 119 before.
I was gonna.
No, don't do it, BDD.
Yeah, Please. Oh, if it died to the turret. Oh,
there it is.
Man, I would have been so frightened. Well, there we go. That is 120th Splinter, so a bit of an upgrade here for BDD. Can we update it? Update the little image. 120.
I think it might have been called a little bit too early on our API, but you guys saw it there on his click on him. See.
Yep.
He's got it.
Bulldog, instead of that, collects a Rabbidan's death cap.
Yes. Like I was saying, he's feeling pretty good about the game state at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And I mean, because of the ways in which KT can defend with their wave clear and Keen's really nice sides, KT are actually still in this game. And this game could be decided by an Elder fight, so props to KT for sticking in this one, defending extremely well, stopping Kwangdong from turning that Baron into an inhibitor. All 3 inhibitors up mean they can manage their waves here with this Sivir pick, and they will get a quote-unquote fair fight here, 5v5 for the Elder.
We'll see whether Dudu can actually start something up here as he was looking for that Q, fishing, as you can see there. 5 seconds on this Baron as Taeyoon's dashing forward. Aiming has the backup of Lehens right now, and this is of course a Yuumi composition, so not to be underestimated. But still, Kwangdong are in so much control. But Maokai is so powerful with point-and-click CC of his own. Follow-up Bramble Smash really being a problem for especially BDD on this Syndra.
Look at the angles BDD is trying to set up here. Doesn't have 16 yet. Just desperately trying to cut somebody off. The second, like, if Dudu gets caught by a scatter only alone, and they try to collapse on him, they just turn instantly. This comp has such good turn right now with all the vision they have in these choke points. And more minions stacking up bottom side. That inhibitor is going to start to take damage here. KT between a rock and a hard place, as we say here in the LCK.
Yeah. And I think that we need to continue saying it, because that bottom wave, it's like it doesn't exist. Throughout this entire game, KT dropping the ball a little bit when it comes to taking care of the homework, you know, which is dealing with side lanes and making sure that things are sorted out. BDD will go down there, but that's going to provide the space for Kwangdong Freaks to walk on over and check out the Baron. Jun now going to get engaged alongside Bulldog, who does get McHale's immediately. Nature's Grasp comes through, but they're buying space. This Zeri is just tearing apart the Baron. Kwangdong Freaks, let's see whether they can escape, and the answer looks like no maybe for Bulldog, but he has a flash, and he's going to get out. The Baron's taken, and KT once again just get nothing.
It just tunnel visioned on trying to catch Bulldog, who has Flash and Mikhail's available. You know they're on Baron. You don't have vision. And perhaps KT thought it's doomed. They're already probably got it down to 2,000 health. If we try to move over to Baron, we're going to fail to get Baron, and we're not going to get Bulldog. So KT make the call to try to push for Bulldog. Wild Growth, Flash, Mikhail's. You can't kill this Victor, who has Rod of Ages stacks. He's more survivable as a result. He's got Merc Treads. You're not going to lock this guy down, but you've got to try something as KT. You can't split push in this game either. So now you're just catching more Baron waves here. And this time, Kwangdong Freaks should be able to use that power to take the Elder. The timing here is great. They don't have waves set up, but with all the vision and the prio they have, how do you walk